Have you ever wondered about the intriguing history of over 7,000 islands that today comprise one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic nations? Today's exploration is going to delve deep into that. Together, we will embark on a fascinating journey through time and space, aiming to uncover the rich, diverse, and truly captivating history of these islands. The Philippines. Our voyage into history starts with an interesting find from a long-gone era: early hominins. These were the pioneers who first made the islands their home around 709,000 years ago. Recent archaeological findings reveal that these early inhabitants were not merely passing through. They made these islands their permanent dwelling. They introduced stone tools, demonstrating their ability to adapt and utilize resources in the new environment. These tools were essential for their survival, used for various tasks from hunting to building shelters. Consider this for a moment. These islands, now known as the Philippines, were once untouched by human presence, entirely alien to humankind. Yet these early hominins ventured into the unknown, braving vast oceans and extreme weather conditions. And against all odds, they arrived and declared these islands their home. Despite numerous challenges from severe unpredictable weather to the struggle for food and shelter, they persevered, adapting to the island's unique environment and laying a foundation for future generations. Their arrival marked the beginning of what was to become a long, colorful, and convoluted record of human habitation on this archipelago. They paved the way for future generations, setting the scene for a story filled with intrigue, conflict, discovery, and ultimately, the birth of a nation. Thus, with the arrival of these early settlers, the history of the Philippines started to unfold. Each subsequent chapter in the history of these islands was defined by the resilience, ingenuity, and spirit of the people who considered these islands home. From the early hominins to the contemporary Filipinos, each generation has woven their part in the rich tapestry of the Philippine history. As we continue our journey through the annals of the history of these islands, we will encounter mighty sultanates, European colonizers, fierce revolutionaries, heroic figures, and countless others who have left indelible imprints on the island's character. The history of the Philippine Islands begins with an unexpected protagonist, early hominins, who made the islands their dwelling around 709,000 years ago. These early settlers marked the commencement of a long, vibrant saga of human life on these islands. Let's zoom in approximately 3,000 years before the Common Era, a pivotal point in our narrative. Imagine a world distinctly dissimilar to ours today. This was an epoch of profound transformations, when the Earth seemed seemingly infinite, and the concepts of journeying, exploration, and discovery were paramount. Modern conveniences like smartphones, the internet, and globally connecting networks were non-existent. The heart of this transformative period lay in the Philippine archipelago, a collection of over 7,000 islands nestled in Southeast Asia. Rising from the depths of the Pacific Ocean with its string of volcanic peaks and lush tropical rainforests, the archipelago a richly varied ecosystem for the brave souls who chose to make it their home. The archipelago's timeline was notably marked by the influx of Austronesians from Taiwan during this era. They were more than mere transient visitors. These were people propelled by the desire for unexplored terrains, fresh opportunities, and the prospect of carving out a life and legacy for their future generations. Their arrival signaled the dawn of a transformative era. The Austronesians were a group enriched by cultural and linguistic diversity. They carried with them a unique blend of heritage, traditions, and lifestyle. They were adept traders, farmers, craftspeople, warriors, and poets. Their deep comprehension of the land and sea them acclimate to their new environment. They weren't just passive settlers, they actively shaped their new home, constructing dwellings, tilling the earth, and forging trade links. Their actions laid the groundwork for what would later evolve into distinct regional identities and cultures. Their influence could be seen not just in the physical transformation of the landscape, but also in the socio-cultural patterns that began to resonate across the archipelago. As these settlers wove themselves into the region's social and cultural tapestry, They molded the identity of the early Philippine societies. Their practices, beliefs, and languages slowly melded with the indigenous cultures, giving birth to a unique fusion of traditions that still endures to this day. These pioneers from Taiwan would go on to play a pivotal role in molding the cultural and social structure of the early Philippine societies. They brought with them not just their physical presence, but an enduring spirit of exploration, resilience, and adaptation that continues to shape the Philippines' identity to this day. Their influence can be traced in the pottery, weaving techniques, agriculture, and even the maritime traditions of the archipelago. The Austronesians' legacy is a testament to their profound influence on the development of the Philippines. Over the course of many centuries, the evolution of early societies was a transformative marathon rather than a sprint. They grew from their primitive initial states into complex, mature civilizations, each infused with a distinct, unmistakable identity. This was not a process that occurred in isolation or in a social vacuum. Rather, these societies were integral parts of a dynamic, interconnected world that was in relentless flux, with multiple civilizations impacting, influencing, and shaping each other. These societies weren't solitary islands, invisible and isolated from the rest of the world, detached from the grand masterpiece of human civilization. On the contrary, they were active participants, both directly and indirectly, in the ever-changing global currents, trends, and movements. They were connected to the rest of the world in intricate and varied ways, such as trade, military conquests, diplomatic relations, and cultural exchanges. It was through these means that these societies were exposed to a plethora of external forces that profoundly influenced their growth, evolution, and development. These external forces were diverse, hailing from far-flung corners of the earth, each leaving a unique imprint, a distinctive signature on the canvas of these evolving societies. From the West, the Islamic empires, with their rich tapestry of scientific, artistic, and philosophical traditions, exerted a deep and lasting influence. The mathematical concepts, architectural innovations, and philosophical insights of these empires seeped into these societies, enhancing, enriching, and contributing significantly to their evolution and progress. Alongside this, cultures emanating from the East, particularly the ancient civilizations of India and China, played a pivotal role in shaping these societies. These time-honored civilizations, known for their wisdom, sophistication, and intellectual prowess, shared their knowledge, traditions, customs, and perspectives with these societies. As a result of this cultural exchange, the philosophical musings of the Indians and the scientific and technological breakthroughs of the Chinese filtered into these evolving societies. The aftermath and legacy of these external influences were profound and widespread. They did not merely alter the physical landscape of these societies, but deeply influenced every facet of their existence, from their social hierarchies and political frameworks to their religious convictions and artistic expressions. In doing so, these external forces irrevocably reshaped the trajectory of these societies, steering them towards the paths they would eventually tread. The result was a rich, vibrant tapestry, a mosaic of civilizations, where the indigenous and the foreign intermingled and interwove to create something unique, something distinctive. These foreign influences didn't just pass through these societies, they left enduring, indelible marks, impressions that remain deeply etched into the very fabric of these societies. From the Islamic empires of the West to the Indian and Chinese cultures of the East, these foreign influences significantly shaped the Philippines. Then, in the year 1521, the course of Philippine history took an astounding turn. A sudden gust of change started to sweep across the archipelago. The horizon that was once filled with the serene ambience of the Pacific began to bear the threatening shadow of foreign ships. These infiltrators, originating from a land far away, were led by a man named Ferdinand Magellan, a man whose name would be forever etched into the annals of Philippine history as the initiator of a new era, an era of Spanish rule. This was not a fleeting visit or a transient moment of influence. It marked the beginning of an enduring period of dominance, signaling the start of Spanish colonial rule. This rule spanned over 3 centuries, from 1521 to 1898, leaving an indelible mark on the cultural, political, and social landscape of the islands. During this time, Spain established the Captaincy General of the Philippines, a form of colonial administrative jurisdiction. Spain's influence was far from superficial. They introduced Christianity, the Spanish language, and Hispanic traditions. The economy was also drastically altered with the establishment of the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade. This period of Spanish rule was characterized by significant religious, political, and cultural change. The islands, which had once thrived in isolation, were now being reshaped under the influence of Western culture and governance. The Philippines was no longer just an archipelago. It was a melting pot, a unique blend of indigenous traditions and Western practices, a merger that profoundly shaped and defined the nation's identity. The Spanish rule, lasting for more than 3 centuries, saw the Philippines fundamentally transformed, molded under the influence of Western culture and governance. A period ushering in an era of newly adopted Western customs, traditions, and governance, lasting until the year 1898, a time that eternally marked the history and identity of the Philippines. The end of Spanish rule gave way to the dawn of an American era in the Philippines. The unexpected shift in power from Spain to the United States ushered in an era brimming with hope, an era that promised freedom. The Americans took helm, marking the beginning of their control over the Philippines. With their takeover came a new vision, not just for the land, but for its people. The Americans pledged a promise that reverberated throughout the corridors of power and resonated in the hearts of the ordinary Filipinos. This promise was more than just a mere utterance of words. It encapsulated an ideal, a beacon of hope that hinted at the potential of what was to come. This promise was not a proclamation of immediate independence. Instead, it was a future commitment, a pledge that would be brought to life, but not without its challenges. The pledge required perseverance, hard work, and unwavering determination. It was a promise that was to be earned. The American rule, while promising liberty and a better future, also called for patience. It required time that extended over decades, time that witnessed the world rewiring itself, time that harbored both peace and war. After the tumultuous years of World War II, the long-awaited promise was fulfilled. In the year 1946, this promise of freedom, this pledge of independence, finally saw the light of day. The American influence had brought about profound changes. It had introduced democratic governance, along with English, as the lingua franca, which was adopted into the educational system. This transition from American rule to independence was both enriched and challenged by these influences. Following the challenging years of World War II, the promise that had once seemed so distant was finally realized. The Philippines emerged as an independent nation, forever bearing the marks of its encounter with America. The history of the Philippines is a fascinating, intricate tapestry, woven meticulously through time. This captivating narrative is a blend of many indigenous cultures and foreign influences that have helped shape the country to what it is today. Delving deeper into the diversity of cultures, the Philippines was first inhabited by early hominins, known for their primitive ways of survival. Their intriguing lifestyle and practices added the first strands to the tapestry. The narrative takes a significant turn with the arrival of the Austronesians. Known for their exceptional seafaring skills and languages, they introduced a new facet of culture into the Philippines. Their influence extends to the languages and dialects spoken in the country today, adding vibrant hues to the cultural fabric. The tapestry grew richer with the arrival of Islam, introducing religious diversity to the archipelago. This brought about a shift in cultural practices, traditions, and social structures, embedding yet another substantial thread into the tapestry. The Asian influences, particularly from China, India, and other parts of Southeast Asia, had a profound impact on the Philippines' arts and culture. From literature, painting, and music to cuisine, crafts, and dance, these influences have left a lasting mark, further enhancing the intricate pattern of the cultural tapestry. The influence of Western colonial rule, despite its fraught history, cannot be overlooked. The Spanish and American colonizers introduced new systems, ideas, and even architectural styles that significantly transformed the social and cultural landscape as their rule was marked by struggle and conflict. It undeniably intertwined a distinct thread into the Filipino tapestry. The rich diversity of the Philippines is a testament to its historical narrative. Each layer of history, each influence, has woven a thread into the tapestry, contributing to the vibrant and resilient pattern that is the Philippines today. Each strand tells a story, and every story adds depth, color, and texture to the tapestry that is ever evolving, ever enriching. It truly is a testament to the nation's enduring spirit and diverse heritage. To summarize, the history of the Philippines is a captivating tale of constant evolution and adaptation. From the early hominins settling in the islands approximately 67,000 years ago, to the subsequent advent of the Austronesians around 4,000 years ago, the narrative of the Philippines is complex and interlaced with numerous influences. It boasts a diverse array of cultural influences from Islamic, Indian, and Chinese cultures that continue to shape its customs and traditions. The chronicle does not stop there. Stop there. The Philippines underwent significant transformations under Spanish and American influences. The Spanish rule of over 300 years molded the face of modern Philippines, infusing it with Hispanic influence visible in their religion, language, and architecture. The American rule introduced reforms in education and governance and instilled democratic ideals. Finally, after years of colonial rule, the Philippines achieved its independence. This relentless journey has crafted the Philippines into a magnificent tapestry of rich heritage and resilience. The Filipino spirit of bayanihan, their communal unity and cooperation, has been a propelling factor in their continuous adaptation and evolution. So next time you admire the cultural diversity and vitality of the Philippines, recall its fascinating journey throughout history. Remember, it is a nation where every strand of its historical narrative contributes to a vibrant tapestry, proud of its rich heritage to face the future. Before we end this video, we'd like to remind you to please hit that like button, subscribe, and activate the notification bell to stay updated with our historical content. Your engagement truly supports the creation of more educational videos. We appreciate your continued support. Thank you.